Do not beg for love. Walk away with dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in life where the heart feels heavy, not because it is empty, but because it has been carrying the weight of one-sided love for far too long. We've all stood at the edge of hope, waiting for someone to turn around and see our worth. But what if they never do? What if your love, no matter how pure, is met with silence or indifference? In those moments, the most courageous thing you can do is not to hold on, but to let go. To stop begging for the affection you deserve and to walk away, not with regret, but with dignity. This isn't weakness, it's power. This isn't defeat, it's a triumph of self-worth. Today, let's explore powerful keys that remind us why we should never beg for love and why walking away with dignity is the highest act of self-respect. Your worth is not defined by someone else's ability to see it. There is something deeply painful about giving your heart to someone who never truly sees it. You try so hard to be enough to be noticed, enough to be loved, enough to be chosen. But the truth is, you were never supposed to prove your worth to someone who was never looking with open eyes. It's not your job to make someone realize your value. That is their journey, not yours. It is so easy to shrink yourself in the hope of fitting into someone else's version of love. You start molding your laughter, hiding your scars, silencing your truth just to avoid being left behind. But in doing so, you slowly begin to disappear from yourself. And one day, you look in the mirror and wonder where you went, how you lost the girl who once stood tall with unshaken confidence. The moment you place your self-worth in someone else's hands, you also give them the power to break you. You begin measuring your value by how much they respond, how often they text, how deeply they choose you. But you were never meant to be validated through someone's attention. You were created with worth, and no amount of neglect can take that away from you. There are people who will look at you and still not see you, not because you are invisible, but because they are blind to beauty that doesn't come packaged in perfection. Let them go. Your job is not to force anyone to understand your soul. Your job is to keep your soul intact, even if that means walking alone for a while. Do not let someone else's inability to love you convince you that you are unlovable. Their limits are not your reflection. Their silence does not define your voice. You are more than someone's confusion, more than their indecision, more than their temporary emotions. You are real, you are whole, and you are enough without their approval. And when you finally stop begging to be seen, you begin to see yourself. That's when the healing begins. That's when dignity returns. That's when you remember that you were never waiting to be chosen. You were only waiting to choose yourself. True love does not need convincing. There is a difference between love and attachment, and sometimes we confuse the two. Love is free, it flows. It does not require pressure or persuasion. You don't have to keep proving your loyalty to someone who truly values your heart. You don't have to explain your worth over and over again just to be met with silence or excuses. Real love knows. Real love shows. It is heartbreaking when you find yourself constantly pouring into someone only to receive drops in return. You think maybe if I give more, they'll stay. Maybe if I try harder, they'll change. But love that must be begged for is already broken. It is not love, it is a performance you were never meant to audition for. You were not sent here to convince someone to love you. You were meant to be loved for who you are, not for who you pretend to be, not for how much you can give, not for how much you endure. You deserve a love that walks beside you with ease, not one that drags you through emotional exhaustion. The right love doesn't play games. It doesn't keep you confused, waiting, or wondering. The right love arrives with clarity. It brings peace to your soul, not storms to your heart. If you constantly have to beg someone to stay, they were never truly with you in the first place. Sometimes we hold on because we think we haven't done enough. But love doesn't require endless proving. Love grows in freedom. And if someone makes you feel like loving them is a job or responsibility you're failing at, then it's time to walk away, not because you're giving up, but because you're finally waking up. You do not need to chase anyone who sees you as an option. You are not a backup plan. You are not a second thought. You are a soul deserving of sacred love. And the one who is meant for you will never need convincing. They will recognize your worth and choose you without hesitation. Self-respect is the highest form of love. There will come a time when your heart breaks, not because of what someone did to you, but because of what you allowed in the name of love. That moment is not weakness, it is awakening. It is the beginning of reclaiming your voice, your worth, your boundaries. It's when you realize that staying quiet, staying small, staying available for someone who keeps wounding you is not loyalty, it is self-neglect. Love should not require you to lose yourself. It should not make you question your value, beg for attention, or constantly wonder where you stand. If it does, then it's time to step back and ask yourself, do I love them more than I love me? Because the answer to that question will either set you free or keep you trapped in a cycle of self-abandonment. Respecting yourself means recognizing when something is hurting more than healing. It means saying no to emotional crumbs and yes to emotional safety. It means choosing peace over drama, truth over excuses, dignity over desperation. That choice may be hard, but it is holy. It is the most honest act of love you can give yourself. You are not here to be someone's second choice. You are not here to be tolerated, used, or toyed with. You are here to be loved loudly and clearly. And the first step to receiving that kind of love is giving it to yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Set boundaries for yourself. Be the safe space you've been searching for in others. When you respect yourself, you shift the energy around you. You stop settling. You stop chasing. You stop explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand you. Your silence becomes your strength. Your distance becomes your decision. Your healing becomes your loudest answer. You do not have to hate anyone to walk away. You just have to love yourself enough to say, I deserve better. And that one sentence whispered to your soul in the quiet of your own truth becomes the turning point where everything changes. Walking away is an act of emotional maturity. Letting go is not always a loud decision. Sometimes it's the quiet realization that peace matters more than presence. That your emotional health is worth more than constant confusion. It's in those silent moments when you're alone with your thoughts that you find the strength to say, this is not what I want anymore. Many people think walking away means you didn't try hard enough. But only you know how much of your heart you gave. Only you know the tears that fell in silence, the words you swallowed, the nights you waited for love to show up. Walking away isn't failure. It is the final act of self-respect when all else has been tried. There is no shame in choosing your sanity. There is no weakness in choosing your peace. Staying for the sake of hope can slowly destroy your spirit if that hope is based on someone who refuses to grow. Walking away is not about punishing them. It's about protecting you. We are taught to fight for love, to never give up. But no one teaches us that love should be mutual, that it should not hurt more than it heals. That sometimes staying becomes the very thing that keeps us stuck in emotional survival instead of emotional thriving. Emotional maturity is knowing you can still love someone and choose to leave. It is knowing that loving them does not mean you have to break yourself into pieces to be enough for them. It is knowing that walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've started caring about yourself too. When you walk away, you are not turning your back on love. You are walking toward a version of love that starts with you, that honors your boundaries, and that allows your heart to breathe freely again. The right love will never make you feel unworthy. Love that's right for you won't make you beg. It won't make you question your worth or doubt your place in someone's life. The right love feels like home, not like a test. It embraces you with softness, meets you with presence, and holds you with consistency. You were not created to chase after love. You were created to attract it through the way you hold yourself, speak to yourself, and honor yourself. The right love will meet you in your light, not hide from your shadows. It won't ask you to shrink. It will rise to meet you where you are. Some loves will teach you how to survive, but the right love will teach you how to bloom. It will not run when you're vulnerable. It will not flinch at your truth. It will love you not despite your scars, but because of them. It will see the story you carry and want to walk with you, not away from you. You've cried enough over people who couldn't see you. You waited enough for replies that never came. But one day, someone will speak to your heart in a language only it understands. And in that moment, you'll realize why every goodbye was necessary. The right love doesn't come with confusion, it comes with clarity. It doesn't exhaust you, it refills you. It doesn't make you question who you are, it makes you more certain. And most of all, it doesn't arrive after you've begged, it arrives after you've healed. You are worthy of the kind of love that never asks you to prove yourself. So keep walking in truth. Keep choosing dignity. And one day, love will find you, not because you pleaded for it, but because you finally stopped settling for anything less than what your soul was made for. In the end, there comes a moment in every soul's journey when it must choose between holding on to what hurts or stepping into what heals. Begging for love chips away at your self-worth until you forget who you were before the waiting began. But dignity reminds you, it calls you back to yourself. It whispers that your value was never dependent on who stayed or who saw you. You were worthy all along. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't love enough. It means you finally started loving yourself enough to stop begging for what should have been freely given. It's not rejection that defines you, but how gracefully you rise from it. In every step away from unreciprocated love, you're not just leaving someone behind, you're moving closer to your peace, your healing, your truth. You deserve a love that doesn't need to be chased, a presence that doesn't disappear in silence, and a heart that doesn't need reminders to care. And until that love finds you, may you keep choosing yourself again and again with quiet strength and unshakable dignity, because you were never made to beg, you were born to bloom.